Welcome to Vantage Point Video 2011 for our coverage of the Connaught Competition Engines National Hill Climb and Sprint Championship. The Wexford Motor Club hosted the first two rounds of this year's series near the seaside towns of Feathered and Connaught in the sunny southeast. The club had pared down their expenses to the bone in order to provide a reduced entry fee of just €200 for the 2 days of competition, and were rewarded by a strong entry for both Saturday and Sunday. Paul O'Connell set the pace on the first run, driving his older car, the Delta T79. His pill beam is still being repaired since its Donegal crash. Simon McKinley was unfortunate to catch a loose stone in the timing belt of his Land RT2 during the practice run, putting the car out of action, so he double drove Dermot Nolan's Reynard for the rest of the weekend. It only took him until run 2 to set the fastest time of the day in that car. O'Connell was also overtaken with the return of the Jedi of John Byrne on run 2. Paul went quicker than that time on the final run, but John was quicker again on 3. David James leapfrogged both of them into second overall for the day in a modified Mitsubishi Evo. Brendan Keane was 5th in his graceful swallow, and the generous Dermot Nolan must have winced when Simon broke a wishbone in his car on run 3. Aisling Power was out for a spin on Saturday in the family's red Mini and scored 4th in Class 1. Trish Daly showed true grit, just being in Wexford after the sad loss of her husband Terence at Christmas. That she scored a 3rd and a 2nd place in the class over the weekend was truly remarkable. Kenny O'Brien was 2nd on Saturday behind Ray Cunningham's Mini, which scored an awesome 10th overall on day 1. Ray had to attend a funeral on Sunday, so Kenny claimed the class win that day. James Doherty made a welcome return to Class 2 competition after a foray into single-seater hill climbing. He held off strong competition from Declan Cundlin at Feathered and local Tommy Murphy at Duncannon. Behind the top 3 were a triplet of Nova drivers, led by John Bradley's blue one, ahead of Owen Cardiff double driving with Shay Delaney in his white one. Bradley dropped behind that duo on Sunday and was replaced in 4th by Stephen Moran's Peugeot 205. Seamus Ryan debuted his striker in the 3A Championship class with 2 wins at the weekend. Ian Quinn collected 2 second places in the Mini Busa. Paul Patrick screamed his Davry into 3rd on Saturday, ahead of Peter Bogan, back out in the Zack Speed Escort, followed by Cyril McCabe in the Blood Red Alfa Romeo and John Whitley's Golf GTI. The latter 3 all moved up when Paul Patrick dropped out with a broken crown wheel on Sunday, with Kieran Curran in place of Cyril McCabe. Rory Stevens was dominant both days in 3B with his Radical, despite the dramatic efforts of Trevor Cullen in his Escort G3 and Aina Carroll in the Turbo Civic. Pat Caulfield was 4th in his Subaru Impreza on Saturday, chased home by Paddy Murphy, also in a Subaru, Dermot O'Toole in a Striker and Jim Butler in a Renault 5 Turbo. Caulfield wasn't competing on Sunday, so Paddy Murphy moved up a place and Patrick Carberry in his Mitsubishi filled the gap. Gary Bradley gave us a brief but exciting demonstration of what a drift car can do, and Douglas Richardson proved it wasn't the Japanese who invented that game. It mightn't be blue blood, but there's certainly blue paint flowing through the historic Class 4, which is decided on handicap. Matt Dunn's MG Midget was the winner on Saturday, with John Farrell in the Mark 1 Escort 2nd and Mick O'Shea's MGB 3rd. They were in front of Dermot Quigley and Jerry Freeman sharing an Anglia, Alan Kessie in his Griffin on Saturday and a Porsche on Sunday. They were all moved down to place by Barry Smith on Sunday and chased home by Vincent O'Reilly then. Vinny was behind Wolfgang Snyder's Midget and Ed Cassidy's Sunbeam the first day and ahead of Frank Nuttall's Graham, which will hopefully be on song for his invitation to the Prescott Hill Climb later this year. Colm Dunphy enjoyed his home event with a win at Feathered and a 2nd place at Duncannon. Hill Climb Committee Chairman Eugene French was 2nd at the first hill and Breed Harper got 3rd place on her debut that day. Enda Byrne charged to a victory on Sunday and Siobhan McCann followed Dunphy 3rd on Sunday ahead of Eugene and Breed. John Byrne won Class 6 both days while battling for overall position, but there was a mighty battle behind him over the weekend. It went John Mahon, Deirdre Delaney and Joe Courtney on Saturday, and Joe Courtney, John Mahon and Deirdre Delaney on Sunday. Deirdre was the fastest lady over the weekend. The top 3 in Class 7 were embroiled in the overall battle, but Brendan Keane was 4th on Saturday, with Dermot Nolan 5th then, and 4th on Sunday. The rally classes were greatly swelled by local entrants. First in Class 8, both days, was Enda Kennedy in his Escort, followed on Saturday by Edward Lyons Honda Integra, and Leon Galvin Honda Civic on Sunday. Third on the 2 days was Patrick Haughey, who travelled all the way from Donegal with an escort. Also in Class 8 over the weekend were Bill Carroll Honda Civic, Larry Murphy Escort, Alex Wilson Toyota Starlet, Niall Sinnott Opel Corsa, Ray Benson Opel Kadett, Martin Hendrick Vauxhall Nova, and Mark Kavanagh Opel Astra. They were joined on Sunday by Tommy Kelly Honda Civic, Andrew Nash Honda Civic, Alex Wilson Jr. Starlet, Noel Kendrick Honda Civic, Richard Stafford Opel Kadett, Sean Furlong Opel Kadett, Tom Wallard Peugeot 106, and Novice Award winner Tanya Fortune in an Opel Corsa. Graham Scallon, Alan Doherty and Liam Howlett had great sport over the weekend. It went Escort, Astra, Corsa on Saturday and Corsa, Escort, Astra on Sunday. Also in Class 9 on Saturday were Seamus O'Grady, Escort, John Price in another Renault 5 Turbo, Mick Dowling, Escort, Alex Wilson Jr., Starlet, Richard Cleary, Honda Civic, and Noel Kendrick, Honda Civic. Some of them hopped class for Sunday, but they were replaced by Kevin O'Dowd in a Honda Type R. The broken wishbone must have been lucky for Simon McKinley. With it repaired for Sunday, he led from run 1. John Byrne was second on that run, with Paul O'Connell third. But the Empire would strike back when O'Connell focused hard to return to form on run 3, beating McKinley's first time and going ahead of the Jedi. Simon shook an even quicker time out of the Reynard on his third go to continue his reign in the championship. Rounds 3 and 4 will be held in County Clare in just 3 weeks.